Whether it's the anticipation of ripping open a pack of Pokémon cards, finding that perfect item in a video game, or getting your next big win in any sort of lottery system, we have all felt the emotional roller coaster of random chance before, and random loot in gaming design and game mechanics. It's that anticipation, eagerness, and excitement, as well as the frustration, that keeps us chasing that glory. This is one of the most universal game design techniques because nearly all player archetypes enjoy it in some capacity, and it can be tied to almost any KPI that you're chasing within your system as well. Let's take a look at how Diablo, Pokémon, and more, as well as companies like McDonald's, Temu, and others, use random loot in their game design systems to keep you chasing more. Let's check out random loot. The concept of random loot comes in a ton of different flavors and a ton of names as well. Prize wheels, pill and win, collect and win, mystery prizes, random drops, raffles, booster packs, loot boxes, and countless more. And there's many methods to distribute a random item to your users, but these all capitalize on the same basic psychology. Just like a slot machine in a casino, you are hoping that that next pull generates a big win. And whether you're paying per pull or playing some other game, that same basic underlying structure exists. And if at any point during the game you've been rewarded well, that dopamine hit that you get will keep you playing more and more. But there's a fine line between how often you win and at what capacity and what size you win versus what you're putting into the system and what you're paying to play. The cost that any given user or player pays to play can be done in many forms. It can be a straight payment. It can be the purchasing of products and you're given rewards for purchase. It can be simply taking the time to participate. Like everyone's been to a Comic-Con or some event where you stand in a line to spin a wheel and win a prize. Or you could just get rewards for choosing brand loyalty. The cost could be choosing that brand in a loyal fashion and returning over and over and over. The lottery or gambling, like we mentioned, are direct payments. You pay money, you pull a lever or pick some numbers, and there's a chance that you leave with more money than you put in. And even though that is a direct I pay and I receive system, it's still generally considered good, more or less. Like tons of people are still showing up at casinos. They're not going bankrupt anytime soon, and tons of people are still playing lottery and Mega Millions, and that isn't going away anytime soon. Yet, things like a discount wheel, where you don't have to pay to spin that discount wheel, you simply give your email address, is sometimes viewed as a negative thing. Like I'm not giving up my data just for a chance at a 10%, even though the cost is completely different. Instead of paying money to win money, I'm paying information to potentially win a savings on a purchase. Yet, it's interesting to see that one can be perceived as positive and one can be perceived as negative. But getting away from that slot machine method, there's plenty of ways to get away from a simple pay money, push button, get random result. One of these options that you see a lot is a collect and win system. This forces multiple actions. You can't win with just one purchase or spin or collection alone. You need to participate multiple times in order to collect different pieces to cull them all together. You can't get that one big off win. A lot of times this is even used as a secondary game, where if I didn't win the big prize the first time, if I collect 5 or 6 losing tickets, then I can cash them in for a certain prize, or I can cash them in for a discount or something like that. McDonald's Monopoly is the reigning king of this game. You can win instant food prizes, or you can win other things instantly with those peel-offs. But if you don't win instantly, you collect the Monopoly pieces. You can slowly collect all of the yellow board pieces, all of the blue board pieces, whatever those are. And those collect and wins keep you playing, keep you coming back for more. It's not a simple, do I peel it off and win a cheeseburger? I peel it off, and if I start to get 2 of the yellow properties, I want to keep playing for that 3rd yellow property. The Pokemon cards we just pulled as well are the same thing. I may pull any one of these cards that's valuable to me, but unless I have the evolutions of that Pokemon, there might not be anything I can do. I may need to keep buying packs until I get the Charmeleon to go along with my Charmander and Charizard. Random drops is another incredibly popular way to distribute random loot. You see this a ton in video games especially. One of the most common instances here is just rewarding a player with random drops when they complete any given action. This could be defeating an enemy, this could be unlocking a chest, this could be kicking pots or urns in Legend of Zelda or Diablo. Even wandering through your terrain in Fortnite, opening any given chest, you could find a legendary or mythic weapon that secures you that big win. I can't even count the hours that I've spent in Diablo 2 through my younger years just kicking urns and opening chests and scouring dead bodies just to find a chipped gem that I could combine to make a more perfect gem, or finding certain runes that I could combine to put these runes into my weapon slots or armor slots. The key is this balancing act that you have to do, or really a spreadsheet, where any given activity you do references some spreadsheet or database that kind of says, hey, these are my percentages that I might pull any given item. And different activities obviously have different chances. If I'm kicking open a random pot in a level, that has a very small chance to drop a highly valuable item. Whereas if I defeat a big boss, that boss's drop percentages are always going to include those high level items. It works from a different spreadsheet. You can't have all of your items pulling from the same spreadsheet. And when you're building these random loot systems, you've got to keep that in mind as well. Ultimately, the player will continue to play if the balance is there. If the player feels like performing the activity has a good enough chance of giving them reward, they will continue to do that. I got enough things from Diablo 2 in just kicking simple urns or fighting low-level enemies that it made it worthwhile to keep playing. If that grind wasn't there, if I kicked open 1,000 urns and got nothing, I would probably stop kicking open urns or fighting these low-level enemies. But because every 100 or so of those things that I do drop something of value, I continued to do it. I continued to play that game and kept investing and exploring and trying to find those different items. A lot of times in product design, we lose track of this. Maybe when the user first lands on the website, they get the one chance at spinning a wheel and it gives them 15% off. But we never follow up with that. We never see additional rewards. We never see the point of coming back. Like a lot of times we think of the like, hey, it's got to be a big win or it's not worth it to the person. But a lot of times you see this slowly work out. Bing from Microsoft is actually a pretty good example. It takes a lot of heat for not being Google, but every search you perform, every link you click, you get slow points. And over time, I mean, I've used Bing enough that I've probably cashed in close to $100 worth of either Amazon or Microsoft Xbox gift cards. Like we mentioned at the top, your KPI doesn't necessarily have to be revenue either. If we look at McDonald's, their goal is to get you to spend more money at the restaurant. And if you look at things like Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards or really any other TCG, the idea is you pay money for a pack and you get the like random loot. But that's just an incredibly common way to do things. But you can tie these rewards to any KPI you want. It really just depends on what metric you're trying to enact change on. If that's revenue, then sure, make them pay for a loot box, which has its own ethical dilemma tied to it. Is it a form of gambling? Like some people argue yes, but you can tie this to a daily login. You can tie this to usage, and there's tons of different examples out there we can look at. Forza Horizon is one of my favorite games, and it uses this really, really well. I don't pay for loot boxes. I simply get wheel spins. And every time I level up, every time I power up one of my cars or unlock its rewards, I get these wheel spins. And you spin this wheel, and odds are you end up with like a handful of credits most of the time. Like you don't get a ton of things, but every once in a while you'll pull a legendary car, or that ultimate rush is when you unlock what they call a super wheel spin, which is you get 3 wheel spins at once. And sometimes with those, like I've had wheel spins where I unlock 2 legendary cars and like a good chunk of credits. And again, I'm not paying for these wheel spins. I don't pay $1 here, $1 there to spin that wheel. I simply play the game. Their key performance indicator is just time in game. And their goal is that the longer you play, the more you enjoy it, the more you tell friends. That word of mouth is kind of their key performance indicator. Conversion is another key performance indicator that uses these random loot boxes a ton. One of my other favorite games is the Pokemon TCG Pocket Edition, where you are playing Pokemon cards, you get to rip packs, and I don't have to go spend money on packs. And I unlock them every 12 hours or so. I can open a pack, but their goal is to get you to convert. It's a free-to-play game, but they want you to spend money in that game. Their North Star metric is probably conversion, getting people that are playing for free to spend money. And sometimes when you open that free pack and it's just not what you were looking for, you didn't get anything good, every once in a while, like I'll either spend money to get that 12 hours back and rip another pack, or if I've done some other activities and earned those hourglasses, then I can do it myself. So I can earn this either by paying and converting, or just time in game slowly earns me those hourglasses to rip another pack as well. One of the things that's interesting to me, as far as random loot goes, tied to games that include like season passes, like a Fortnite, Fall Guys, pretty much any epic game at this point, is they show you the rewards in the season pass. So I know what level I need to get a reward I want, which is kind of interesting. It makes me wonder if they would see more usage out of the season pass if those rewards were random. If I didn't know what was coming next, and that next big legendary outfit or skin or whatever it was could be right around the corner, that might encourage me to pay for that season pass if I'm not sure what's coming next. So it's always been interesting to me that season passes will usually show you level 20, 21, 23, 24, whatever those are, in order. Just like we mentioned, this mechanic truly is one of the most flexible in all of game design psychology. User types, if you look at the Hexad framework, different user types might prefer different things, but there's something there for almost everyone. Players and achievers want to see their loot come from winning and strategy and overcoming challenges, just like they would expect. But free spirits like the kind of random whimsy that you sometimes get. Randomly, you might be given a reward, or there might be some whimsical thing you get, or it's especially great if you unlock clothes for an avatar or something that they can then express externally. Those free spirits love getting those cosmetic things that they can then show off. The philanthropist is also someone who enjoys the ability to maybe pass these things on to others. Maybe I already have a discount code. Maybe if I spin a wheel and earn another 15% off code, I could send it to a friend. Or maybe if I'm opening a deck of Pokemon cards and I get a card that's highly sought after, but I have one or two, I can share it with my friend, or I can trade them for something else. That philanthropist will get satisfaction out of the ability to get a good reward themselves, but be able to give it to others if it doesn't suit their particular needs. And you can add these random loot drops to nearly any action, making it perfect for tying to whatever your North Star metric is, or any of your key performance indicators. If you're chasing something like DAU, daily average users, give a login price every time the user logs in each day. If your North Star metric is growth, then every time you invite a friend, you get a random reward, or when you invite friends, you get to share random rewards with them. If you're looking to decrease churn as your North Star metric, give anniversary rewards. Each time you pass a new month, year, anything like that, give a random reward so that as the user knows one of those is coming up, maybe they're a little less likely to leave. Don't be afraid to break the mold here with random loot. There's tons of ways to do it. It's been used in the same old tried and true methods for for decades. So don't be afraid to get crazy. Throw a few spaghetti noodles at the wall and see what fits, or maybe take all of your North Star or all of your KPIs on one side, all of your potential activities, and spin that wheel and see where they match up. See if you can get a KPI to match a mechanic or an activity that you want to tie a random reward to. There's the bounds are endless with gaming and random loot. Don't be afraid to use it in wild and new ways. Thank you for checking out the video. Remember to like, subscribe. That helps more people find the channel. And comment below with some of your favorite ways that you've seen games, software, products, anything use a random loot system that's maybe a little bit more unique.